Check this out. New study that has been done. You probably heard about it right now, but I wanted to go ahead and give you my thoughts. We're covering it from the Blaze and Daniel Horowitz covering it. But there's a new study, of course, that shows that there was a massive increase in childhood obesity since the lockdowns. The 800-pound gorilla in the room, when it comes to vulnerability to SARS-CoV-2 and most other dangerous ailments and diseases, is obesity. Eating healthy and bolstering our immune system are our ultimate vaccine against most of the ailments that plague this society. We've had 18 months for health establishment and government to offer such a message at a time when people's fears will likely have made them receptive to it. Instead, they have locked people down, abolished. Big shout out to Daniel, because this is obviously everything that I've ever said. Depleted vitamin D levels are worst of all, induced worst obesity crisis in American history. Last week, researchers from the University of Michigan and Kaiser Permanente published a study in JAMA showing that not only did adults gain significant weight during the lockdown, but even young children packed the pounds. Using Kaiser Permanente, Southern California, that's the KPSC Permanente electric health record data of children during and before the pandemic, they found astonishing increases in obesity among the young children. This is a quote from it. Findings. Overweight or obesity increased among 5 through 11-year-olds from 36.2% to 45.7% during the pandemic. An absolute increase of 8.7% and a relative increase of 23.8% compared to the reference period, wrote the author. The absolute increase is overweight or obesity was 5.2% among 12 through 15-year-olds, relative increase of 13.4%, and 3.1% relative increase of 8.3% among 16 and 17-year-olds. Okay. Now, what does this say? It just reinforces and reassures everything it was that I've been saying, and others. This isn't that profound. And that this never was about health. Okay? I know there's a lot of fear-mongers, a lot of jab advocates, a lot of health nuts who claim that the science is what we need to be following. And they care so much about saving lives. Was utter horseshit. You know why? Because at no point in time were they ever honest about it. The inconvenient truths, obesity, representing a significant, over half, right, percentage of the hospitalizations referring to people hospitalized for COVID-19, obesity, hypertension, vitamin D deficiencies. This was never about health. You know why? Or how you can tell that? I've said it before, and I'm going to repeat myself. And for those of you that say you repeat yourself a lot, good. That's telling me that I'm consistent. But in a time when people should have been prioritizing getting into shape, the government locked everybody down. Some more strenuous than others. They locked down specifically your gyms. They were one of the first things to go earlier on in the pandemic because you can't go get some exercise. Despite the fact that they were leaving all the fast food joints open and all of that, that was fine. So you can go out, eat your heart out, literally eat your heart out. And that was fine. But if you wanted to go pump some iron, you wanted to go get a little exercise in at the gym, they said that you could not do that. It was illegal. Okay? So they shut that down. And not once during this pandemic, not fucking once, has the CDC, your public health experts, state, local, leading a charge of encouraging people to get in shape, to diet properly, to start being more conscious of that, because people that are struggling with this virus the most are obese people and overweight people. Never once did they do that. They never did that. They never did that. They never let, it was always cover your face, don't move. Two of the last things that you need to be doing. You would have saved more lives mandating exercise than mandating masks. But no, Because look, think about this, guys. We're a year and a half, bros. A year and a half dealing with this. Do you not understand you could go from fucking fat to ripped in that period of time if you take shit serious? You know how much weight you could lose in a year and a half? For those that don't know, I'll tell you, a lot. You could lose a lot. You could go from being completely out of shape to in the best shape of your life in a year and a half. But who cares about physical fitness, right? Who cares about that? It's to slap a Band-Aid on the problem and get a jab. Not take care of your body so in the event that you do get this, you'll be able to handle it. You'll be most likely to get on the other side of this alive. On the other side of this, not being hospitalized. That's because it was never about health. We saw rise in attempted suicide, domestic violence, abuse, right? Because you altered people's lives. You stripped them of some of their outlets, of their businesses, which then led to other mental problems that you will never take responsibility. They want every anti-vaxxer, every unvaccinated person to take responsibility for every death and every hospitalization. But these fear-mongering pieces of shit who refuse to tell people the inconvenient truth and to encourage them to do something for themselves, to get on the other side of this, they will never take responsibility for the mental health crisis that we're dealing with right now, as well as the obesity crisis that we're dealing with right now among not just adults, but young people. They'll never take responsibility for that. It was never about health. Never was it about health. It was about control. And a lot of people, unfortunately, saw that there was a means to control, a means to get laced up, depending on what industry they belong to, like pharmaceutical companies. You can have a extensive track record of settlements and fucking up like Pfizer had, but all of a sudden you become the greatest people in the world when you have something to gain by encouraging people to get these jabs, right? Moderna, same thing. But that's fine, right? It was never about health, though. It was always about control and controlling you. And the minute people realize that, the better off we're going to be. But don't let these gaslighting pieces of shit say otherwise, because they absolutely will, as they have been doing. You just watched a clip from my podcast, For Canon's Sake. Catch us live at 12 p.m. throughout the week over at youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and follow us over at odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. If you want to watch the entire video cast after the show is over, just be sure to become a member on the YouTube channel. Of course, the full audio portion of the podcast is available for free on all major digital platforms, or just visit forcanonsake.com.